You're with Julian on the Brown Note and a review of the new Thom Yorke, Mark Pritchard album, Tall Tales. And everyone knows who Thom Yorke is, the cleverest voice on the current Middle Eastern situation, where he just managed to put his foot in it yet again. Not good times for Thom at the moment. Mark Pritchard, though, is someone deserving of equal stature. A force of British electronic dance music going back to the early 90s, with multiple projects, global communication being one of the first, dozens actually. Use of Weapons was a prominent one. Harmonics 3-3 was another one. Africa High Tech, who made the excellent album 93 Million Miles in I think the last decade, was a funny one because I live in Sydney. I think he does too. My friend knows quite a few people in the industry, and I was telling my friend how much I liked the new Africa High Tech album, to which he said, that's his album. He was literally standing right next to us. He was out with us in that evening. And he's done a new album with Thom Yorke, and to be fair, he should have taken his name off of it. It was apparently a load of tracks that he'd been sending back and forth between Thom Yorke during the COVID lockdowns, and you would be forgiven for not even knowing that Mark Pritchard was on this album. I think that Thom Yorke's got this incredibly annoying thing, which is whenever he makes solo music, and I guess the band stop him doing this, it's always the same bloody song. It's always this really ghostly, spectral piece of minimalist balladry. As I didn't really like the first two Thom Yorke solo albums at all, but I did actually like the third one. I thought that was the first time it clicked into gear. So they've released an album called Tall Tales, and I have pretty strong opinions about it. So ghostly ballads are like virtually the entire album. The first track goes on for 8 minutes. It doesn't need to. It's a very low-key, ghostly ballad. When Mark Pritchard is available on this album, it's very, very perfunctory, low-key percussion that is so far beneath him. It's like someone's My First Ableton trip. Rudimentary percussion and bass. Does not develop at all. It's barely even a track, and it goes on for 8 minutes. It's a complete waste of your time. Second track's the same. Ice Shelf, completely uneventful. Retread of the first. Same vein continued for track 3, Bugging Out again. The titles are actually more interesting than the songs themselves. Free ghostly vocal. There's barely a single element musically. It's just like floating along in space, but being in stasis, so that you just don't notice everything's turned down on this album. The first 3 could all be the same track. We finally get a beat about half hour in on track 4, Back in the Game. But it's a mediocre one. It's very boring. You'd never get any of these tracks on even the worst Radiohead album. In fact, you'd struggle to find worse tracks on that second Smile album, which wasn't very good. Those tracks were more developed than this, and they sounded like demos. Track 5 is surprising though, because that's another ghostly ballad. It's got a few electronic elements, but it goes on for 8 interminably boring minutes. It's shameful that Mark Pritchard's been involved here. It's almost like Thom Yorke came along and stripped out all his content. The first vocal melody is on The Spirit. That I actually had the first vocal melody and lyric that actually stood out in a song. 6 tracks in on The Spirit. This is the track that should be a breather after a run of very strong, hard-hitting tracks. Yet this is the hard-hitting track. 7 has at least a few more elements, like early Cluster, the krautrock electronic pioneers, or Showroom Dummies from Kraftwerk, with none of the personality or melody or invention of either of those two acts. And by track 8, The Conversation is Missing Your Voice, Thom Yorke actually sounds like he's awake and participating in these sessions and actually singing, as opposed to just doing guide vocals that are ghostly. Track 9 is just the title track, Tall Tales, is just collage of ambient noise. There's no attempt at a song. Track 10, Happy Days, it's got a military drum tattoo, which is probably the most upright beat on the whole thing, but still ghostly and dull. Track 11, The Man Who Danced in Stags' Heads, was so dull I actually forgot it was on. I can't remember what it was like. And track 12, Wandering Genie, is just vapor. There's just no track there at all. So this is a case of Thom Yorke, who's not having a good time of it after he recently doubling down on his thoughts, his arrogantly misguided thoughts on the Middle East, releasing his worst music project, I feel. Far duller than anything else. I mean, I remember back when Fortet and Burial were involved, at least you knew those people were on these records. A legend like Mark Pritchard may as well have not been on this record at all. It's far too much Thom and far too little Mark. I normally listen to albums 4 or 5 times before I review them. I've listened to this twice and I won't be going back, because there's such a lack of substance to anything on here. I don't know why Thom Yorke thought that this was acceptable to release. I mean, I complained that the last Smile album, after the excellent Wall of Eyes, really felt underdeveloped. That's got nothing on this. It's almost like just holding down a key on a keyboard, putting the bossa nova beat on in the background for a few minutes with Thom Yorke going, ooh. So this is garbage. So Tall Tales from Mark Pritchard and Thom Yorke, a wild missed opportunity. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.